Simple video instructions for the Loypack MWCA Mini Wrap. The controls of the machine are fairly simple. We have two heat controllers, one for the jaw heat, on and off heat for the jaws. We have one for the fin seal, again on and off for them, and we have the print eye for the print registration. On the heaters, if you want to change the settings, you press this button there, you get the set point, put the temperature in you require, and then press that again, and that will readjust itself. That is the same for the bottom one too. Here we have a speed control which controls the speed of the machine, and there the print eye button which controls the print registration eye, which is there. As you'll see, you can see a small green eye there, beam there, which shows the light is on, and if I turn the switch you will see the light goes off. If you are using printed film, you do not need to have the registration on. Okay, so that's that control panel. If we just come down here and look at these three buttons here, we've got jog, we've got stop, and we've got start. Obviously jog is to run the machine in sort of a stop and start situation. The start starts the machine and the machine will run permanently. If we were to open the guard, the machine stops. There is also a guard at the front, and again, if that opens, the machine will stop. If for any reason you need to use the machine with the guard open, we can actually jog the machine with the guard open. That is only for the engineers. These buttons here, or levers should I say, these actually open the rollers that grip the fin seal of the film. So always check that these rollers are closed. These two oilers are not for oiling the gears inside the machine. These are simply to oil the heated rollers that form the fin seal. Now the way these operate is we have a hole in them there, and we fill these up through this hole, and then when they're full we close that off, and then we lift this lever up here, and what happens is we will get drips of oil that will go down a tube located underneath, which is connected to the heated roller. Now that doesn't need to be on all the time. Maybe if you lift that up for 5 minutes every week, that will give enough oil to lubricate them heated rollers, because obviously with them being heated, the oil will dissipate fairly quickly. The other controls we have down here, we have 3 buttons. We have a jog button which jogs the machine, we have the emergency stop there, and we have the start button. If we open one of the doors, the machine will stop automatically, and we have the same on the front. Any doors that open whilst in production will cut the power to the machine. On the jog button, if we open the doors and press the jog switch, the machine will run, but that is only for the engineer. It will not run in on the main control, only in jog. So you need to keep the gate closed, and it will run in that position. The film, if you look at the film here, you can see how it's set up. There is a a diagram there that tells you how to thread it through, and then here, which you can't properly see it because we're on clear film at the moment, but we have a little limit switch device there that should the film run out, the machine will basically just stop. So if the machine just stops sometime and you wonder why, the film has probably run out.
Right.
To thread the film, basically I've got clear film, might be a little bit difficult to see, but at the moment I've got the rollers open. I'll just close them up. Some people like to have the rollers open when they thread the film, but I do it this way. Push your film through there and just get hold of it with your other finger like that. Centralise everything up so it's all nice and neat, and then with the jog button just basically pull the film down. So that, as you saw, was very simple, and we have the film threaded up. I will just put a candy through so you can see how it goes through. There's the candy, and there it goes through the film. And there she is. Voila. Okay, once the film is running okay, you've threaded it up and it's running okay, if you find that it doesn't seem to be feeding correctly, the film, we have another device here which is a little speed controller, very fine adjustment, and basically what it does, it controls the speed of this rubber roller. And we'll say, for instance, you're using a very stretchy film and the film is feeding, we'll say, at 1 metre a minute. If you're using a stretchy film, you may want to feed at 1 metre and 5 millimetres per minute. If we want to do that, we would just speed up this and it will give us a tiny little bit more extra film. Or again, if we wanted a little less film feeding, for whatever reason, we would compensate for it on that. So that is your fine compensator for different films. There's that many different films on the market now, clear films and BOPP, OPP, laminates and metalized films. We have to have these things on the machine for fine tuning. The rubber roller is controlled by this, so the rubber roller grips the film and assists the feed of it. We have another roller here, which is the last roller before the film goes into the folding box here. Now the angle of this is pretty critical, so take note of that angle. That works perfectly on this size of product. So if your film is running out of your folding box and it's not keeping central, just check the angle of that and make sure that's okay. It should be around about there, but again, different films, it varies a little. And to adjust that, you just undo these and move it down and tighten up again. Okay, to change the pack length, we do this on the computer screen, and we do this as follows.
Scroll through the arrow up and down keys until you come to the page that says Set up Pack Length. Then press F8 and F2 at the same time, and this will show 4 shaded zeros. Using the arrow up and down keys, choose the last digit number of the pack size. Then press F8 or F7, which will move the position of the digit, and then set the extra digit for the pack size. Press F6 to save. Scroll through the screen to find the length display and the speed display screen. Then press the jog button until the length display shows the new value. The new length is now set.
Once the film is set to size, there is one more thing that may need an alteration, and that is the speed of the cutters. If you imagine we have the film going through the cutters at say 1 metre per minute or whatever it is, when the cutters are at the cut point, they also have to be travelling at 1 metre a minute. If they're travelling faster than 1 metre a minute, the film will snatch and may snap. If it's travelling slower than 1 metre a minute, the film will start to bunch up here. So we have to set the speed of the cutters. Now, how we do this, we call that speed of the cutters the dwell. And the way we set the dwell is on this hand wheel here. Now, if I turn the machine on and just run it, if I turn the hand wheel and try and simulate the machine snatching so we can hear it, that one will do. I'll have to cut some of this out. Now, if we hear the film, we can hear the film is snatching. Now, if we look round here, I have to jog this, but the film is actually being snatched because the cutters, the jaws, are going too fast. So we have to slow this cutters down. Now, if we turn this, we'll hear that noise will disappear. And that noise is gone. So when that noise is gone, the cutters are going at more or less the same speed as the film. Now, if we go to the other extreme and slow the cutters down, okay, once the film is running okay, you've threaded it up and it's running okay, if you find that it doesn't seem to be feeding correctly, the film, we have another device here which is a little speed controller, very, very fine adjustment, and basically what it does, it controls the speed of this rubber roller. And we'll say, for instance, you're using a very stretchy film, and the film is feeding, we'll say, at 1 metre a minute. If you're using a stretchy film, you may want to feed at 1 metre and 5 millimetres per minute. If we want to do that, we would just speed up this, and it will give us a tiny little bit more extra film. Or again, if we wanted a little less film feeding, for whatever reason, we would compensate for it on that. So that is your fine compensator for different films. There's that many different films on the market now, clear films and BOPP, OPP, laminates and metalized films. We have to have these things on the machine for fine tuning. The rubber roller is controlled by this, so the rubber roller grips the film and assists the feed of it. We have another roller here, which is the last roller before the film goes into the folding box here. Now, the angle of this is pretty critical, so take note of that angle. That works perfectly on this size of product. So if your film is running out of your folding box and it's not keeping central, just check the angle of that and make sure that's okay. It should be around about there, but again, different films, it varies a little. And to adjust that, you just undo these and move it down and tighten up again. Okay, we've got all the machines set up, we know what the settings are, we've got the right size pack length. So what do we need for the perfect running of the machine? We need the feed to be nice and smooth. We need to have the dish not full to the top, but not empty. Just a nice amount in the dish. Different sweets will feed differently. A square sweet will feed differently than a round sweet, and a ball, well, a ball will just go in every hole, so simple. But we want them a nice feed, and we want them to transfer nicely into the middle or near the back end of the pin. Nice transfer. These plates need to be even, These can be adjusted by these screws here, and the plates will move in and out. We want them to be adjusted so the machine isn't too tight, just nice. Pushes down. The candies will go down, go into the box. The box doesn't want to be too high, it doesn't want to be too low. The film just needs to be a nice tension, not like a bowstring, not too slack. If it is, we can do the fine adjustment like we spoke about down here. The film needs to nicely wrap around the candy, and as the candies are running, and if you're running in clear film that is, you will see the candies nice and equally spread. If the candies are moving in the tube, obviously there's something wrong. Your box is too high, your box is too low, your film is too slack. Sort the problem out and have them all nice and even in the tube. A nice, not a tight wrap, but a nice, comfortably tight pack. And you will find them, if the products are spaced in the right position for the jaws, which is done by the little hand wheel down on the floor, if everything is correct, the machine will run nicely all day. We have machines who are actually wrapping at 800 a minute on clear film, and we have machines wrapping on printed film around 700 per minute, even faster. So set up right, these machines work very, very well. These adjusters here are for the jaws. Now what we have this adjuster which lifts them up and down in collaboration with these. In other words, if we loosened all these four, there's two at the front as well, and we turned that, it would lift the jaws up and down. These put pressure on the jaws, so when the jaws come together, it puts more pressure on them. Now these are very, very fine-tuned pieces, and advice is do not alter these at all. The worst thing that will happen to you is at some stage the blades will lose the sharpness. This could be years. Depends on how clean you keep the machine and how well it's set up. But if that does happen, don't really go tightening these up. Take the blades out, put new ones in. It's a lot more easier. Okay, this is the feed system. We have a vibrator which you can control the vibration on it. Basically we put the sweets in there, the sweets vibrate into the plate turns round, and the candies are distributed into the pockets in the plate. We have a limit switch device there that if there's too many candies in the plate, the candies will lift this arm up and stop the feed. You can lift that up and down to make it a little bit more sensitive. The brushes turn round, and should you get two candies in a plate, the brushes will sweep them out, and then when one candy lies in nice and flat, the brush can't disturb it, so you just get one product per pocket. The pockets are rotated round, and they transfer down there into the infeed chain. Now you have to have the position of the plate correct, so that the candy will drop nicely in between the pins. Later we'll show you how to take the plate off. Once the candy's in the plate, it will be taken away and go through the film as you've seen previously. To start the brushes on the plate, we have a switch there which starts the brushes. And then if we want to start the vibration, I'll just turn off the brushes so you can hear. If we turn on the vibration, we need to switch the machine on for that. If we turn on the vibration, you can hear the vibration of that. And we can alter the vibration by turning the controller there. Okay, to change the feed plate we need two tools, a spanner and the hook provided to lift out the feed plate. Basically what we do we loosen that, take that out, lift off the first plate, take off these side plates here, probably easier if we take this one off first, off that comes, and then we use the lifting hook in there and lift it out. And then we can see the feed plate exposed, and we have the various bolts securing it down, and you can see the slide in the adjustment, so we can move that around to get the perfect position there. If we were to turn the machine on and put a candy in, we can actually see it transfer, and if it's not in the right place we can move it backwards or forwards, and then basically we just put everything back the way it was. It's sometimes a good idea to just put a little mark so you know that when you put that particular plate on, you just line it up with the mark, and basically that's it.